Hey everyone, so if you're new to my channel, this is a continuation of 1999 movie reviews that I focus on since they're turning 20 this year. And I figure today, let's focus on The Insider, which is a 1999 Michael Mann directed film which stars Al Pacino, Russell Crowe, and Christopher Plummer. Now Russell Crowe plays a character by the name of Jeffrey Wingate, who was a real-life character, he is a research chemist who comes under personal and professional attack when he decides to go on 60 Minutes to expose on big tobacco. Al Pacino's character is Lo Bergman, who is a news reporter who wants to essentially get him to blow the whistle on the big tobacco industry. And this is a compelling film. I'm just going to say it right off the bat. This is a very compelling film. If you weren't interested by that premise, that's okay. But let me just let you know, you're in for a treat if you do decide to watch this movie, because the premise is just like the cherry on top. What you have is a film that exposes so much about corporations and just how big businesses work. And it is kind of crazy. Because Michael Mann, and I'm saying this as someone that recently I've seen all of his movies so I can do a ranking list, which is also something I do on this channel. Check those out down below. But Michael Mann's movies are so similar in some ways, except The Insider stands out as a completely different movie of his. All of his characters in his movies are usually swaggered. You know, they have like this aurora about them where they always know what they're doing. They have these set of rules. They always are in control, and usually until the end where they don't. However, The Insider is about a character that never really had control. In fact, throughout the movie, you have Michael Mann at his finest, giving us directing that is anxiety-inducing. You know, you're never really knowing what's going to happen. You're not sure, you know, if the character's going to die or not. You're not sure what's going to happen because there's so many like personal attacks, threats that are going on, and it's kind of crazy how well Michael Mann directs this movie. He was excellent at directing this movie, by far one of his best directed films. And I haven't even gotten to the acting. Let's talk about the acting. So Russell Crowe as Jeffrey Wingate is incredible. He gained a lot of weight for this role, and he really is so different than any of his other characters that he plays. It's truly mesmerizing, honestly. Al Pacino is just as great, as is, of course, Christopher Plummer, who's a veteran. All three are great. And there's other performances, too, like Bruce Mcgill is in this movie, too. And I really liked his courtroom scene, his yelling scene in that scene. It was really good. I'm a big fan of, like, yelling. And this movie it's a yelling film. There's a lot of yelling that goes on because it is a dialogue-driven movie. So there's a lot of big dramatic scenes that are going on, and I love it. I personally love yelling in movies, especially when there's dialogue that is really getting chewed on by amazing actors. Like, it's incredible to watch for me personally. And that's the thing. This movie's well directed. It's well acted. It's got a lot of messages that are on its mind, as well as themes. I mean, I think they're interwoven in a way in this movie that really works with exposing corporations and tobacco in general. I mean, whether you smoke or not, this is a huge corporation that thankfully got exposed. I mean, it's still going, obviously, which is a message in itself, but we're not going to get into that today. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is this. I haven't even gotten to the technical aspects. I'm talking about story, messages, and all that. Let's get into the technical aspects. The stuff that, for me personally, obviously I care about story, characters, messages, and themes. I wouldn't be a critic if I didn't. But technical aspects for me personally are really important, especially when it comes to rewatching a movie. If you're watching a movie that has a fascinating story, but at the same time is bland in the technical aspect, kind of makes it hard for me to rewatch, me personally as a viewer. The Insider is incredible. On a technical aspect, it's really awesome. I love the cinematography, a lot of dark lighting, dark color palette as well. It's really well utilized, especially during the scenes as the film's progressing and how the themes are getting darker and darker because the characters are in more and more danger. It's really good representation, honestly. I also love the score by Burke, who is a veteran, obviously, with Michael Mann, with composing his films. Backed up by Lisa Gerrard, who does the soundtrack, I believe. And a lot of people will know that she's known for Gladiator, for doing Now We Are Free, which is an excellent track. Easily one of my favorite tracks from Gladiator, and honestly in general. But she does a track in this film called, I believe, Meltdown. Check it out on YouTube. It's an incredible track. They played it a couple times in this movie, and holy cow, that track rocks. It's incredible, and it's well placed too during the many scenes that are going on. It's awesome. It's really emotionally resonant because you're really caring about the dialogue and the characters that are going on screen, and it's backed up by an excellent score and camera angles. It's awesome. Also, I wanted to note, sound design is awesome. I mean, there's a lot of yelling scenes, obviously, and big dialogue-heavy scenes. And it's really well balanced, I think, in the soundtrack and the sound design, with how it's all balanced to mesh into a single sound design that works really well with the editing of the sound. Really, really effective, in my opinion. So, and I didn't even mention also the production design. This is a high production value film. At least it looks that way. I'm pretty sure it might have been a modest budget, because I do know that directors were given a lot of leeway in the 1990s, especially in 1999. So I don't know if Michael Mann was given a huge budget. But regardless, it's a film that you can tell looks expensive. I don't know if it was expensive, but it looks expensive, and there's a lot of production values that goes into the making of this movie, and it's awesome to see, honestly. As well as the attention to details. It looks like there was a lot of attention to details for this period. And yeah, The Insider rocks. It's a great movie. It's easily one of the best films of 1999. Not my favorite. You guys already know what my favorite is, American Beauty. I know it's a pretty divisive thing to say these days, but The Insider is still one of my favorite films of the 1990s, particularly 1999. I love whistleblower films when they're done well. This, along with Spotlight, are two whistleblower films that really works very well for me. And for me personally, The Insider, I think it's a nearly perfect movie. I will say this, though, in terms of negatives. And this could just be a personal gripe. Because I remember the first time I saw it was the pacing. But honestly, the more I watch it, the more I'm fine with the pacing. Because, yes, it's a slow burn. But, it's a slow burn where each scene you're able to really saturate everything that's going on screen. And I personally dig that. However, the negative I have is personally the character of Mrs. Wingate, the wife of Jeffrey Wingate, played by Russell Crowe. I know she was probably written to be unlikable, but I really do think that they could have gone deeper into why she was always just so against her spouse. And I'm not saying 20th century values of the wife always stands by the man. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that as someone that's been, well, not been, I am in a relationship that's been over 3+ years. Communication is important. It really is important in a relationship. And if you're in a relationship, you know this. So when you're married for at least 7+ years, given the children's age, communication should be one of the biggest things. And there just seemed to be a lack of communication even before the big events that happen on screen. And that's something that for me personally I was kind of annoyed by, because it just makes the one female character in the movie look terrible, honestly. And I know it's okay, it's 20 years later, so maybe that hasn't aged well, but I just kind of wish that she was given more to work with so we understood her perspective a little bit more. But that's my only gripe with the movie. Besides that, I know some people might be like, oh, that's fine, it was during the time period. It's okay. But for me personally, I just couldn't help but say that's my one gripe with the movie. It's the only gripe I have with the movie, though. So it's one gripe. Nonetheless, though, The Insider for me, again, I mentioned it's one of the best movies of the 1990s, especially 1999. And I personally will be giving it a 4.75 out of 5-star rating, which, if there's a hot sauce rating, gets the good old Tabasco rating. It was almost a ghost pepper rating. Not quite that level, though. But still a darn good yarn. So, guys, that is my review of The Insider. Let me know your thoughts on The Insider. Did you like it? Did you not? You think it's overrated? Well, underrated, I should say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.